everybody. It's week 7, which is our final week of class. What I hope this class has demonstrated for you is that there are creativity and innovation sparks all around you, all of the time and everywhere. You just have to be a satellite dish pulling in the creative feed from the world. So far in class, you've defined creativity and created a web page. You've visually represented your creative process. You created a set of your current inspiration sources and your future ideal inspiration sources. You collaboratively created a proposal written in the form of a memo geared toward recognizing and rewarding student creativity and innovation at MSU. You remixed and created a digital video representing an argument of creativity, and you worked in groups to create a slideshow presentation pitching a new creative incubator space on MSU's campus. That's a lot of media, a lot of different ideas, a lot of creativity. For this last week of class, I've gathered readings that I hope will project us into the future and into our creative futures. First, you guys are going to read a chunk from Seth Godin's book called Linchpin. In pretty frank terms, Godin tells us about the workplaces of today, how they differ from the workplaces of yesterday, and helps us understand how we can occupy those spaces. What I hope you'll find yourselves gravitating toward with the appropriate mindset and skills are the roles of linchpins. People who make significant differences in their workplaces. People who can't easily be replaced. People who make a difference. People who connect other people through their creativity and innovation. We're also going to read a really old piece written in 1963 called Creativity is Not Enough. The argument was sound decades ago, and it's still sound now. All the creativity in the world won't get you anywhere. You have to couple creativity with action. We'll watch an annotated talk featuring Stephen Johnson talking about where good ideas come from. Then we're going to look at a couple of different visualizations and representations of a list of 29 ways to stay creative. As for creativity sparks, first I point you guys toward a site called Creative Criminals. Spend a bit of time exploring it. Then explore a grown-up creativity activity book produced by Veer. And finally, I've posted a set of found images from the future from Wired magazine. So what these are artists who have imagined a future idea or product or thing and created a representation of it. And I think they're particularly creative representations of what our future might look like. I really like the Levitt piece you're going to read for this final week of class. It's old. It was published in the Harvard Business Review in the 1960s. In it, Levitt emphasizes the fact that creativity is fine and good, but it's not enough. Creativity has to be partnered with action. The focus of this class has been on creativity, innovation, and communication. You can be incredibly creative, you can have incredibly innovative ideas, but if you can't communicate those ideas to others using appropriate media, a web page, a slideshow presentation, a proposal, or more, those ideas are likely not going to go anywhere in the world. Because this is an arts and humanities class, I want to share with you for this final week of class some examples of creativity and social justice, creativity that makes change in the world. First, I want to share with you a particularly compelling public service announcement, or PSA. This emerged at a time when the ASPCA had become infamous for their gut-wrenching ads about animal cruelty. This organization wanted to take a different approach, a more lighthearted approach, and so they created this public service announcement.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Second, you guys might know of the artist Sarah McLachlan from her music or from those heartbreaking ASPCA ads I just mentioned. But I want to share a different project of hers. I think this is a great example of informative, persuasive creativity because it shares with us insider information about what music videos typically cost and how that money might instead be spent. A third example of humanities-anchored social justice creativity I want to share was created by a group of Ohio University students. Just prior to Halloween 2011, a student organization with about 10 members created a PSA for their campus community, and they created these posters. We're a culture, not a costume. This is not who I am, and this is not okay. We're a culture, not a costume. This is not who I am, and this is not okay. And I think these are incredibly creative, persuasive pieces. They are obviously designed for that campus community and that moment, but they gained a lot of media attention. And once their PSA campaign got larger media attention, people started remixing these pieces. We talked about remix as a key creativity mode, and here are some remix examples that are parody pieces of the originals. This is not who I am, and this is not okay. This is not who I am, and this is not okay. I want to share one more example of creativity engaged by an organization for social justice, and this is a campaign by Greenpeace. A couple of years ago, an apparently Shell oil-produced website called Arctic Ready was launched. It looked like a Shell site. It sounded like a Shell site. It included Shell-branded materials and logos. One of the areas of the site invited users to create Arctic Ready ads for Shell. Not surprisingly, people trolled the heck out of the site and created pieces like this, and this, and this. And it wasn't until a few days later that Greenpeace announced that it was actually the creator of the website, and the site was a campaign against Shell oil drilling in the Arctic. This is a great example, I think, of an organization adopting a really creative, inventive, engaging moment of culture jamming. Creativity, innovation, and communication. These are just a few examples. Again, you can be incredibly creative. You can have innovative ideas, but if you can't communicate those ideas to others, the ideas are probably not going to go very far in the world. This musician, these nonprofit organizations, and this group of students recognize the importance of acting on their creativity to communicate their ideas. Project 7. Your last project for class is an individual independent project. For Project 7, I want you to create a set of tips for yourself. These tips must include 3 tips, lessons, ideas, or advice from the readings, 3 tips, lessons, ideas, or advice you've drawn from our 6 class projects so far, and 3 tips, lessons, ideas, or advice from our weekly overview videos and materials. So 9 tips altogether. These can be very small or they can be absolutely huge, but for each I want to see some description and explanation. I don't just want a bulleted list of 9 things. I want some commentary, some explanation, some illustration. So for instance, if you draw a tip from what we've been reading and exploring, and your tip is, I will continue to look for creativity sparks all around me. I'd want to see first a definition or explanation of what you mean by creativity spark. And I'd also want to see a couple of example creativity sparks from our class materials that you found particularly inspiring. Project 7 should allow you to reflect, that is, to look back and think on what we've done, explored, and created over the last couple of weeks. And it should also allow you to think forward, to think about how you're going to maintain your creative energy into the future. You can choose the format for your tip sheet. Be creative. You might create a brochure. You might create a website. You might add some pages onto the website you created for Project 1. You might create a digital video or a slideshow presentation. The format's up to you, but keep in mind the content expectations that I just described. You can find the complete assignment itself in the Week 7 Project 7 folder at D2L, along with some examples I think you'll find helpful just to give you a sense of what I'm looking for. This week, class officially ends this Thursday, August 14th. So your Project 7 work is due Thursday by 5 p.m. Happy reflecting, happy creating.